Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the 12th day of September, 2025, Friday of the 23rd week of the year, the 23rd week in Ordinary Time. Today, we leave the letter to the Colossians. Paul has said all that he can say to them in praising them again for their faith and their perseverance in the faith and the example that they are showing to the rest of the early Christian community. And now we move into letters to specific individuals. And this is the letter to Timothy, the first of two letters to Timothy. And the question is always, who was Timothy? And the name itself is Greek. It's not Hebrew. And so the thing is, was he a leader? Well, he obviously was a person who came into the faith, not from Judaism, but probably from the ancient Greek religions and what have you. And he seems to have had some kind of leadership position. Some people are quick to say that he was a bishop, but again, at this early point in time, the understanding of bishop is still a bit fluid, and it's not as we understand bishop today. And so he was maybe some kind of leader, maybe some kind of guide, wisdom figure, whatever it is, in the church, in the community that he happened to be in, which I don't think is ever clear. I'd have to take a look at that, but I don't think it's ever really clear as to which community he had some kind of role in. But two letters are given to him about what it means to be a good leader. It will speak about priests. It will speak about that kind of ministry and things like that. But again, that word priest is also very fluid because you don't want to confuse the understanding of priest with that which ministered to the gods and goddesses. So this is where Christianity is always different. And so again, how do we even get priests? How do we even get this idea? The Greek word presbyter means basically an advisor, and not somebody who offers, for lack of a better term, sacrifice. Not anybody who offers some kind of action on behalf of people. Again, as we kind of understand priest today, which is not a really good understanding of priest either. So Timothy is getting two letters to him, and this is just, and it begins. It's just the beginning of the letter, and so there's a salutation to Timothy, and then Paul talks about himself, because that's what he always does. Talks about himself. So telling him how he was a person who persecuted the Jews, persecuted the Christians, and he was not a good person, but God redeemed him, and God brought him into this ministry and what have you. I think that in some ways, Paul is always trying to show that he has some credibility or credentials or whatever it is to write to people and to write to communities and to write to individuals, to tell them how to act, tell them how to live out this Christian life, which is a good thing. But again, Paul spends an inordinate amount of time talking about his own past and what it is. But perhaps he has to do so to make sure that everybody knows who he is. And so that's where we're at this moment. So we'll hear a little bit more from Timothy as we move through the rest of this. Well, actually, we won't have a reflection tomorrow, and then Sunday is Sunday. But then Monday we'll pick up that letter to Timothy. In the gospel, in Luke's gospel today, basically it's we're still in the Sermon on the Plain, and just a bunch of little pithy maxims are thrown at people. They don't necessarily connect. They're basically just statements, and that's the idea, again, of having knowledge, because blind cannot lead the blind; they fall into a pit. So we have to know what we're doing. Somebody has to lead us. Somebody has to guide us. Within that understanding. There's a second one that I can't remember, but then it goes into how to do correction. And the thing about it is we have to make sure that we are conscious of our own challenges, not necessarily inadequacies, but our own challenges that all of us face. Again, St. Augustine, asked the question, why are we built for temptation? That we might better know ourselves. Augustine comes to the realization of. And this is the sense in which if we do not know ourselves, if we are not comfortable with ourselves for all of its challenges and its glories, how can we begin to judge, other people? How can we begin to try to correct other people without, again, taking stock of what it is that we need ourselves? Correction for believers, correction for those who enter the Christian movement is mutual. This understanding of mutuality. I am for you as you are for me. And there's no other way to understand. There's no other way to look at it. And we need to become people who are more cognizant of that, as believers in this world, to become people who understand, that I do not have all the answers, and I do not act out of arrogance or pride or whatever it is to show people how stupid they are or how bad they are or how wrong they are, because that doesn't amount to anything. That does not work at anything. Mutuality involves love. Mutuality involves understanding. It involves the sense of care and compassion for each other. in that way is the only kind of correction possible as believers, the only kind of correction that does any good or serves any purpose within our world. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.